Everybody out of the water! There's sharks in the water!
Our guest today is Jackie.
Hey, our guest today is Jackie.
Oh, I hate that. I wish I could open a can. You know?
So, we're gonna do this whole podcast ASMR style.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're going to rub the mic and shit. Have you ever seen that stuff? The ASMR?
Stop. We're doing this whole episode like this.
Fire it up.
It's going. It's going right. It's happening. Hey, everyone.
Yeah, so this ASMR stuff is like...
Welcome back.
People
And
like...
then you swallow really, like...
Yeah. No, it's like a fetish thing.
I know.
And so there's these idiots on YouTube
There's
that
this
are
one
like...
guy that I tattooed that he was like, I had started getting into it. I was
It's
like,
a
okay,
cra-
now I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, like,
like
people are
I'm like
like-
on your body and you're telling me all of this information. I'm
As you're
like, oh,
tattooing,
balls.
he's
and
like,
I'm like, I can't. Yeah.
He goes, this hurts really bad.
This
This hurts really bad.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's a full-on... People are like... Well, people are jumping on the bandwagon, like, making money on it. I'm like, so you listen to these people do it, and then, what is it, like, you get off on it?
Well,
It's weird.
It was supposed to be it wasn't supposed to be a sexual thing. I guess it does something
like,
in
you sleep.
Yeah, it's something that does something, flips a switch in your brain and it relaxes you. But then of course,
It's
you
like
know,
a
the
sleep
internet
thing, and then
the
people
internet
get all
gets
weird, and then they're like,
the internet gets a hold of it and they're like, eat my asshole.
Yeah.
Shit on my face and rub your balls.
And then someone goes, wait, did he just say
Did he just
eat my ass?
eat-
What?
wait.
and
You
then
just
you're
sprinkle
thinking
that
about
in?
eating ass.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
just sprinkle that in there. Like,
Yeah.
All right, now everyone relax and rub your balls on your chin.
It's just annoying because I've seen a couple, like, I don't know how it popped in my Instagram feed, and I go, wait, what is this? And then, of course, you go down the rabbit hole, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
the You Betcha
And then
guys.
you're like 3 hours deep.
Yep, it's bad.
The You
So-
Betcha guys was fun though.
Yeah, it's
that
good.
that was really funny. But hey, what's going on?
New episode, baby.
We got Jackie in the warehouse. She flew all the way in just for this podcast.
Only for
All the way
podcast.
all
From
the way from
Oceanside.
Oceanside, California. Carlsbad technically.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Carlsbad.
Carlsbad.
Well, is it
Oceanside.
Carlsbad or Oceanside?
I
Which one?
live in Oceanside. I work
Yeah.
in...
Boot City.
Yeah, so he fills me in on all this. It's the Marine Corps bullshit.
Well,
and
it's
I'm like,
Oceanside.
It's true.
So he
Oceans-
told me, he goes, oh, dude, it's all Marines. It sucks. Coming
It is
from...
a lot of military life.
Is it really?
just on
Yeah.
the weekends.
So what's the vibe? Are they trying to party? Is that like, or do they get off base, or why is it so
they're
heavily?
just young bucks trying to get out in the world.
Really?
And they don't
Is that-
know how to. They're young. They're young
It's-
kids.
Right,
they're just
right.
kids.
Yeah, for the
See, I
most
know
part.
nothing,
And then
so
they-
I'm new to this.
okay.
Yeah, I know nothing. So
For the
pretend
most
like-
part, it's the ones that hang out in Oceanside are, private first class is Lance Corp. Or I mean, depends on how salty the Lance is, but private first class is because Oceanside
They're
is
new.
yeah, Oceanside is the connecting town to Camp Pendleton.
Okay.
So it's
Oh, okay.
Oceanside,
Yep, yep.
and then Camp Pendleton is right
It's
you
literally
right
the
on the
last
5.
one that before you go north.
Ah.
And then it's all Pendleton, and then it's San Clemente, and then north.
And so do they get like, so they get like free time, and then they're like, holy shit, we're off the base, and they like kind of just go
I
crazy.
feel like
and
they just don't know how to act as humans and adults yet.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
and then they were like around a bunch of dudes for like all of their training and stuff, and
Oh,
then they get
yeah.
out in this world, and then they see females, and they're like,
pussy, tits.
I've never seen one of these before.
wow.
Oh wow.
But it's
She purdy.
And then they're like,
But-
"Can I give you my Snapchat?" And I'm like, "No."
can I send you? Can I
I've
send
gotten
you
that.
unsolicited dick
Snapchat
pics?
is like-
Have you?
Yeah,
Like-
people are like, "Can I give you my Snapchat?" I'm like, or my Instagram. I'm like,
You know what would
why
scoop
don't
up
you try
a woman?
a phone number? Because
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you went
what
old
the-
school, I bet you the girls would be like, did he just
That-
say, can I
if
get, can I
you
write
even-
down,
you?
can
Can
I
I court
write
you?
down your phone number?
Not even
That's
if
what
you
do.
just came up to me and actually approached me face to face and
Right.
asked me instead of just like leaving it on the tab or whatever, just like kind of being like really discreet and like incognito about it, you have a much better chance
Yeah, true.
getting in these pants.
I think. You rhyming? You rhyming over there?
Oh shit!
Better chance getting in these pants. I asked my wife that. I was asking her if she, I was like, if she got numbers, and she's like, yeah, it happens, and
It does.
you
it
know,
happens.
And then
she
you
likes
get
Oh, I got
blood
one
red
the other-
mad.
I got one.
Yeah, you
My
still
last
make-
shift. My last shift before I came here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Get a little number on that?
And an Insta.
Was he
Both.
cute?
I love how he
app?
drops
And
the
the
app.
Insta.
It's
I
like
got the Insta too.
at
But
Tony.
I
Ferguson.
walked into
Tony
work
Ferguson,
and I go and
6'9".
clock in. I go on my break and then I leave. I come back.
Yeah.
I checked on Jackson. Come back. And then I'm like working for all of 5 minutes. I didn't even know this person exists. And I'm like, they're leaving. I'm like, oh, have a great day. And then he just like, excuse me. And I'm like, can I help? I've never even made eye contact with you before. And then,
Crazy.
yeah, went from there and left me.
And then the
gave
rest is
me-
history. You guys are
Yeah.
getting married. I
Yep.
mean, it's
Yeah.
all like, it's going real
We really
fast.
hit
I
it
get
off.
it.
It's fucking
good.
cute. It's real cute.
So we'll give a little background on our guest today because the focal point's about you, Jackie. So
It is. It's all on you. Spotlight.
So we
No
basically
big
how we
deal.
start this stuff is we kind. I mean, I'm kind of intrigued because we, as a brand, for what Alec and I do here, obviously we are part of the tattoo community, or we try to bring tasteful product to the tattoo community, which I feel in our department, the clothing area, is lacking kind of heavily in that department. So
Yeah.
that's how we kind of started to help that. But obviously, we have a lot of tattoo artists that help us out with designs, and we collaborate and this and that, and we like to PR them. So I guess fill people in. So you're in California, and you are fairly new to the tattoo game, correct?
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things.
But your
very
artwork
new.
says differently.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not just saying that because you're a guest, because we're pretty
Trying to
pretty
blow some
honest. I mean, we
smoke up
just
my ass.
yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
see it and we go, oh god, that looks like prison tats. Like
Yeah.
on, you know, when people post on Instagram.
Well-
But we saw your stuff and I'm like, holy shit! And I not first comment I was like, oh, she's got to have been a tattoo artist for what 8 years or something. He goes, dude, she's only been doing it for like was
Less
it
than a year.
crazy?
Less than a year.
There's that natural talent that people just have. So
Yeah, we were talking about it. I think when it comes to tattoos and everything, you either got it or you don't. I mean, you can obviously learn new techniques as things
Yeah.
go
And you
along
can
and all
grow
that.
in practice.
Of
But
course.
if you're not a solid artist, I think you're
Well, kind of-
you're capped pretty quickly.
The rule of thumb kind of is like if you can't draw, you can't tattoo.
right,
Because like with what we were talking about yesterday with like the iPads and everything,
right.
it's the old school way of doing it is hand drawing everything. You draw your stencil, then you tattoo, and tattooing isn't on a computer. Tattooing is using your hands.
Right.
So if you can't draw on paper at the least, then you cannot tattoo. There's no way. It doesn't resonate.
Yeah.
And like you're working on a moving human canvas where the variables are different every single time.
Yeah.
Nobody has the same skin. Nobody has the same. You're working, and then you're also putting that person in pain. So you're working with like pain tolerance levels and all of that.
So
And
many
there's
factors, yeah.
a million factors
Yep.
every single time you walk in the door. Every single client.
Yeah, and it's crazy too. And we'll get down this path. I do want to talk about separation of the art to the business side.
Yeah.
Because they're massive. And what I've noticed with a lot of tattoo artists, they fucking rule at art and they are fucking atrocious business people. But I feel to get both, you know, you got to have both and work on that craft of like the business side and, you know,
That's how you market yourself.
100%.
Or
yeah.
at least in terms of there's some artists out there that are smart that hire full-time assistants.
So smart.
So
smart.
if you're not good at, but that's like with anything. If you're not good at a certain aspect of what your profession is,
Yeah.
hire someone to help you do that.
Yeah.
Most, you know,
Or if you're overwhelmed.
yeah,
Right,
yeah, or
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I kind of like. That's how I kind of weaseled my way in, I suppose. Just because the girl I work for, Reese Hilburn, she needed help at the time, and she wasn't necessarily looking for an apprentice, but
Right.
we kind of helped each other out. Where I got to learn how to tattoo, then she really needed help with managing her growth and emails, and then that took a big load off of her to pursue other things.
Totally.
So I think it's just acknowledging like when you need help, and then going and finding the help that you need, and in order to keep growing.
Yeah, I mean, and so the big thing is, so how did you with artwork? Let's take a step back. So, what did you go to art school? What's your background, or how did this all start up?
So growing up, I always was super artsy fartsy. I always was drawing, even like coloring books, the whole nine. And then going to school, always took all the art classes, did advanced AP, honors, everything that I could possibly do in high school. And then in college, I went to school for graphic design because that just seemed like the best money
The
way
next move,
of,
yeah.
because that's just where like technology is going now. So I was like, okay, I can still do art, make a shit ton of money, and just keep going that way, and then actually be able to do a career with art. And then after getting a computer, I hated it.
Right.
And because I was always doing everything with my hands, which I think is so important with obviously gearing that towards tattooing. And it was always something that was in the back of my mind, but it's not necessarily a realistic career choice, and it's really, really difficult to get into.
Right.
And then after that, finished out that year, and then that was all in New Jersey. And then I moved to California about a year later. And then always kind of did art on the side, was always drawing constantly. I never really stopped drawing. I would always slow down and had other work obligations and things like that. But it was always something I wanted to keep trying to integrate into my life in some way, shape, or form. And then a couple of years later, I met Reese, so then the rest is kind of
So
history.
real quick, though, you went from Jersey to Cali. Realistically, why did you do that move? Like, is it the token, like, the West Coast, everyone's out there, I got to do it to grow
college route
big?
didn't really work out.
Okay.
I was kind of, I'm always kind of looking for, like, the next thing, I
Sure.
guess. And I never really had a problem with, like, being away from home or getting homesick or anything like that. And I had a cousin that lived in San Diego at the time.
Okay.
Right around when I was kind of finishing school. And he invited me to come out and see everything, and then fell in love with it.
Yeah, I mean, San Diego is...
Once you see it
Oof.
once, that's kind of it.
That is my favorite spot. Oh, man. I'm just, like, thinking about it now. I'm like, ugh, I suppose I want to go back there. So I get it. Like,
Yeah,
you go
I want to
there.
go back
Once you
too.
get the
That's why I'm
bug.
going back in like
A couple
3
days.
days.
Yeah. Get me out of here. Well, hey, it's 50-some degrees. I mean, it's weird, right?
Oh,
so,
it's-
like,
That's what I've heard.
I woke up, and I'm, like, not wearing a jacket. I'm like, it's
so
50
nice.
and
I'm
70.
wearing too.
Austin goes, dude, it's warm out. I'm
I
like,
know.
it's so
I
sad.
brought
That
the
I
we-
sun
told her.
with
I
me.
told her. I was like, this is
I'm
this
lucky.
is so abnormal.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
February, no.
Yeah.
Usually it's negative. Fucking.
Right. That's what I'll say. He goes, dude, this is global warming
Yeah.
right here. But
I'll take some global warming. I
Yeah,
don't give a
right.
shit. Let's
so
do it.
So that was
Do
okay. So
it.
that was the move out to Cali. I mean, I
Yeah.
get that 100% because I have been to San Diego a few times, and I've been to LA.
It's a
and all that.
paradise for a lot of
It
people,
is,
like
it
especially
is.
with like traveling and
Yep.
people here like, oh my God, you're from California, California girl.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a dream for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You don't really realize it until like you definitely take advantage of it living there.
Yep.
But I mean, if you really just slow down and live in the moment and look around and realize where you're at, it's amazing. It's a paradise.
Yeah, it's a good spot. Doesn't
Yeah,
suck.
and
You can't beat it.
You're in such a good spot too. I mean, California, of course, just like any other state, has really shitty spots. I'm not a
Yeah.
huge fan of Los Angeles itself.
Oh God, no.
The
Not a
surrounding towns of Los Angeles are really great, but the area you're in, the Oceanside, you're really close to Encinitas, which I
love
fucking love.
Encinitas.
It's just one of those places where
Beach town.
Yep. Yeah, it's
I love
slower.
that vibe.
It's slower. It's juice bars, healthy
Hawaii,
food,
that's
all
Hawaii
that.
vibe, man. That's
And
Hawaii everywhere. Yeah, same
there's
thing.
such a
Yeah.
different vibe when you're around people who truly like really take care of themselves.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
they're- and
It's
everyone,
just a really positive
Yeah.
environment.
yeah,
Good
and it's
energy,
funny.
right?
It's
Yeah.
funny. You think with California assholes, all that. That's
Right.
really just the LA area.
Yeah.
The I guess movies and TV and music and
They
all
have
that
their
shit.
own like ego up there, I feel like.
For
Right.
sure. But then when you wander down really southern California, people are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They're super great, and I've never been in like Southern California and been like, this sucks, except Thanksgiving because it was fucking 40 degrees. That was lame as
Yeah,
shit.
dude, that was weird.
Yeah.
Like the one time he went,
Yeah.
I'm sure you told her it was
Yeah.
like it was nicer here.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I'm like,
That-
I called you.
was
I'm like,
that
dude,
this
what's
past
going
year?
on?
This
And it was
past year,
raining.
it was raining. It
Yeah,
was
it was
raining
like
I went to
cold.
Reese's house and we went to her family in Temecula and
Yep.
it was pouring
Yep.
rain. I
'Cause
mean,
I
I
was
like
in-
the rains, but it didn't bother me. But it was like, what is this?
But so because I was just in Marietta,
yeah,
literally just
down the street.
down the street, and I'm sitting there and I'm like,
What is
are you
this
kidding me?
bullshit?
Yeah.
Like you travel.
You bring
to
the
get
rain and
away.
clouds.
Yeah.
She brings the sunshine, man. That's
No.
what's up.
It's because I'm emo as fuck, but
Emo.
whatever.
Dude, if you were actually emo, you'd wear the
Dude, I
spike
can.
in the middle, you know?
I can.
So back to the tattoo talk. So then you met Reese,
Mm-hmm.
who's now she owns the shop you work at.
So we have
or-
a private studio.
Okay.
Yeah. And she owns that. And yeah, she's been tattooing for 7 years now.
So private studio, real quick, is I'm assuming that's just like your clients book the appointment with
It's
you,
appointment
and then
only.
gotcha.
It's
Okay.
like so you got to. So she lives there.
Oh, at the shop.
It's a working loft.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
the bottom is where
Is
they
a studio,
tattoo,
and
and
then
it's
she lives
fucking
upstairs.
awesome. And then upstairs is like
Oh, sweet.
bougie and
Yeah.
like
It's super bougie.
it's fucking
Yeah.
Nice.
So we
It's
say it all the time. She's
super
like,
nice.
I live in a really bougie house, and I
Yeah.
love it.
That's
It
awesome.
is pretty dope.
it's
Yeah.
really nice.
So then
That's
I'm
awesome.
assuming with something like that, going the business route, that probably because your rent is your
Yeah,
Right, so it's
you
kind
can
of
write
like
it
your-
off,
Totally.
and then it's also like you have the convenience of always being home, but then at the same time, you kind of sometimes we're like, okay, we need to get out of here.
For
like
sure.
we're here
All
24/7.
day.
Like
Yep,
I
yep.
see, like if I see her probably, wow, geez, in the last year, I probably have seen her more than I've seen anybody else in my entire life.
Yeah.
We're with each other all
It's like him
the
and I.
time.
Yeah. It sucks. No, I'm kidding.
It's
Love it.
terrible.
Love
Well,
it.
it's yeah, it's. I mean, once you guys, because I know you guys are looking at new spots
Yeah.
and everything like that, it actually makes life so much better because
You
for
can
the
separate
longest
It's
time
hard.
when back in 2000 late 2014 2015 when all of this was being done out of his
My apartment.
his apartment
Like,
and
ghetto
then
shit.
and then we
hard.
moved into his townhome that he currently lives in.
Mm-hmm.
So I would
Slight
drive out.
upgrade,
I would
you know,
drive.
we're
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would drive out to Eden Prairie,
up
and
the
you're
stairs.
you're chilling at the house for doing everything
Yeah.
all day long.
That's
and
even
then,
like we'll hang out in the living room and do work, and we're like, we need to, even just going to a coffee shop. It's
Totally.
like you're like
Change of scenery.
it's sometimes it just is the same thing over and over and
Yeah,
over and
so
over again.
it's-
So at first, like when I first started, it was so easy for me to be so focused working there, doing other things, just because I was out of my house.
Right.
And then
It's a
now
new environment
that's like
for you,
my
yeah.
home. So now I'm like, okay, we need to get out of the house
Yeah.
and go do something and get out of
yeah,
here.
that
So-
separation is great. So like we come here to the warehouse, get all our work done, and leave at the end of the day.
yeah, then it's
And
you're done.
you'd leave the work. Well, I mean, the work always comes with you because it's a 24-hour deal.
Always
Yeah.
working.
But
Thank
it's
God for
nice
cell
to,
phones.
Yeah,
Hey.
but it's nice to have that separate space to really work
Yeah.
and then just touch up on things.
Yeah, it was
outside
bad
of it.
because when I was doing all of this out of my house, like it caused problems with my relationship
Yeah.
because, my wife who wasn't at the time, she's like, the fuck, dude, like you're always
Never-
doing, and it's like
there's
you
no
couldn't like separate and shut up.
separation.
Now it's cool because like we do stuff here, but then I'm always doing stuff, via social media, which
Yeah.
is,
It
catapulting
never ends.
yeah, but I know how to balance that now. So, but see, the thing is, especially with like the expenses of being in California, that's a great idea. I just think it's all, yeah, that's really cool. I've never actually heard of that.
Yeah.
I've heard of people like, oh, it's what I think is weird is when people are like, yeah, man, I'll do a tattoo party. I'm like, nah,
No.
that
Fuck
that
off.
doesn't, you know what I mean? Like when I hear shit like that, I just go, I'm at a
I'm
party.
good.
People are probably on some kind of like alcohol or
Yeah.
doing
This-
something.
the
I don't want to be in pain
sanitariness.
and think I'm like cool. Like basically this
Yeah,
blows
like
ass,
garage tats.
Yeah,
it's
garage
that
tats. What the fuck
the
is
worst.
that?
Like what blows my mind is when people are at like music festivals.
Oh my god.
and they're
You want
getting
Hep C, bro?
not
Here you
even
go.
that. It's because like there's like Music and stuff where it's separate, where it's an actual festival
Right.
for tattooing and all that.
right,
but
right,
we're
right.
talking like 3-day festivals with camping, and people are in the camping area fucking blasting people, and you're like,
Disgust.
What?
And then they're like,
people haven't
check it out.
showered
And
in
that's
multiple
disgusting.
days and all that, and they're
Yeah.
getting tattooed. They're like, look at this
That's
one.
like
I
my
got.
worst nightmare.
Right?
Like the infestation of your body right now.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to be so gnarly.
So what is? I mean,
Cleanliness.
I know tattooing, like anything, it's a subjective thing, right? It's everyone's like personal.
art.
It's art. So, but there is like a cut and dry, like kind of what Alec was touching on, of like pure shit
Yeah.
tattoos, and like that's
like
good
either
work.
it's good or it's not. It may
Correct.
not necessarily
Yes.
be your taste,
Right,
But
right,
the
right.
quality of the work is what matters.
That's
I
what
think the most
we
is
talk-
because there's always there's a niche for everybody.
Right.
I think finding your niche is super important, and that's where you kind of build your ideal clientele and the people that you want to like you want people to get tattooed by you, that style, and to keep that momentum going. But there's always good and bad. Mm-hmm. It's like
'Cause-
if your line work sucks, your line work sucks.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
always feel bad because I know a lot of artists, and when you see something that they do, and you're like, oh god, but then you have to think, wait, that's what the customer wanted.
Yeah.
So there's a huge difference between like good work, bad work, and like just stupid,
Like weird
stuff. But it's still a good, well done tattoo,
Yeah.
and
People get
separating
some weird shit.
separating
Yeah,
that
right?
aspect.
Weird.
Yeah.
But some people like that.
Yeah.
So it's like it's all subjective. Literally, it's art. There, people might think like, oh, that that shirt sucks. And then some
Right,
people are
right,
like, that's
totally.
the raddest shit I've ever seen in
Like,
my life.
for me, like,
So
there's
dope.
stuff that we've done, we've produced a shirt. My rule of thumb is never make something I would never buy myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So if you kind of
course.
keep that, level, then you're okay. But like, we've done designs or product, I'm like, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it sells, but it took
Not
a lot
as much
longer.
as quickly
And then we
as you
do
thought.
something like boring ass simple shit and they fly off the shelf. I'm like, I can't win here, man.
So
like,
weird.
but
Like clothing's kind of hard because it's like either you can go crazy with it or you can tone it back and then
Right.
you can kind of wear it anywhere. So
totally. Yep.
it's hard. It's
Yeah,
totally
I think
different market.
the thing that I kind of wonder about with people with tattoos, or what I can't wrap my head around, I just don't understand it, is when the impulse tattoo. Like, we do that stuff like tours, like we call them tour tats, and that stuff's fun.
Yeah.
But even then, we're not like walking into some jank hole. Like, we're on our phones, we do our research, but it's weird to me, and I don't know if you guys see this a lot in your field, but the people that are just like, they don't do any research whatsoever.
Those
They don't
are
look
the
at
ones
the
that we
shop.
cover up.
Right, they don't
Yeah.
know about the shop. They don't know about the artist.
Yeah.
They don't even know what they want. They just walk in. They think it's like going to Starbucks to get a coffee.
Yeah.
They're like, I want.
Oh,
Feeling
cappuccino
spontaneous.
Yeah.
I'm feeling spontaneous. Let's get a
Those
tattoo.
are like the
Yeah.
Friday the 13th tattoos,
Yeah.
you know? It's
Okay.
just like one of those things. I'm not a fan.
Right,
I've definitely I think it's cool, because, I mean, on my body personally, I've gotten tattooed in other countries and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's awesome as like a timestamp of kind of like a journal, of,
Totally.
like where you've been
Yep.
and things like that.
Memories
But I
and
also,
stuff.
I also didn't get crap.
Right.
work. So, and then
Right.
even when I got work at the convention, I went around to, you look at the quality of their work.
Yeah.
You're not just like, oh, that's cool, let's send it. Instead
Right.
of I went around and then picked up the people that I thought were dope and then actually went online, looked at
Mm-hmm.
their actual work, because you can look at their drawings or whatever flash they have set up at the conventions, but sometimes that doesn't always show
Right.
everything. So then I did a little bit of research, and I was like, okay, I narrowed it down and then made my decision and then went and got tattooed. But yeah, those are never... those are sketchy.
I think it's a process, and it takes time. I just don't understand this whole jump in the chair and just go for it. I don't know. to me.
Tattoos are oh, they're cool. I want one. He's got one. I want one. It's just,
I think
one
when
of
people
those
realize the
things.
process of when you get them, they're like, or the cost. They're like, wait, what did you spend on that? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's expensive. This
Yeah,
isn't
it's not like a t-shirt.
Yeah.
You're putting one. What I've always thought is, I don't think people really sit and think about what a tattoo really is, where they're like, oh, I can just get this. I can walk into a shop, get a tattoo, but they don't really break it down to the fact where, hey, I'm putting something on my body for the rest of my life.
The rest of my life. By the way, say that again.
Yeah,
The rest of my life. Holy shit.
And it's not something that you just walk in and it happens to just be put right onto your body right away. There's a process to it.
Oh, you mean like a full back piece?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, can you guys bang this out today? And the guy's
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah, or even something simple if you really
Details.
want me to create something custom for you, it takes time for
Yeah.
me to create that. Then that's the other thing of especially with the cost, there's so many people, including myself and Reese, that do not charge for the drawing
Right,
portion,
right,
and
right,
that's
right.
hours of our time. And a lot of things Reese does amazing realism, and a lot of things she hand paints, so
Mm-hmm.
to fit, or even to fit to your body specifically. Depending on the placement, I can't put something on you that'll work on him.
Right.
So it's
Yeah,
Because I'm bigger than him.
yeah, there's a lot to
Smaller
work with.
legs, though. It's cool. Whatever.
larger surface
Yeah, I mean,
area.
it's little tiny stick legs. She just goes, I can't fit this on here. This isn't going to work.
We're going to have to do 2 of them.
Yeah, right?
But I think that's also a really important factor, is it's not just on a piece, it's on a human. It's
Right.
on a canvas that is round and not flat, or different areas of the body. It's always moving.
Right.
I'm moving my arm, and then it looks
Right.
different. And
Yeah, our
it's
tattoo
endless.
artist said that too. I mean, he's very I love his recommendation. Oh, you should tweak this a little bit so
Yeah.
it fits the
Yeah.
symmetry of your body and this
Yeah,
and
or
that.
people are like, I want this, that, that, and I'm like, okay, that's a lot of shit.
a lot of shit
Let's
going
narrow
on.
it down, and then
Yeah.
like maybe we can break this up into, because it won't resonate well.
Right.
It's not readable, and then you're just ended up with something that's super jumbled just because you wanted to throw a bunch of stuff into one tattoo.
Right.
It's like, if that's your game plan, rethink it.
What I love with, we were talking about technology and drawing on the iPad and everything. It's made tattooing the process, I think, easier in terms of like figuring out what you want, because back when I first started getting tattooed, it was like, all right, we'll draw this up. You might need to downsize it, multiple times to
Or if
fit,
you want
or
to tweak
upsize.
one little thing, you're redrawing
And
the
now,
whole thing.
and now
right.
with the capabilities of the iPad,
It's like
you send
erase it,
you
right?
well, yeah, you
Literally.
send a picture of your body, and
Yeah.
then they
And I
do
can
the
put it
drawing
on your
and put it
body.
on your body so you
Oh,
can
no
see
shit.
I
what
can
it
literally
looks
make
like.
it, I can draw something up, and then I can take a photo of his arm and then put it onto his arm so he can see what it even will
crazy.
look like
Yeah.
before it's even on him.
Yeah, like Zach
So,
did that
and
with
then
my head.
that's
Ray did that with
awesome.
my.
I never got that treatment.
with my.
It's
Fuck.
well,
My
I mess
neck
around
and
with my body
everything.
too. So I'll take a photo of my back, and I'm like, what would that look like, and this and that.
Oh,
and
no
then,
shit.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I think it's awesome for the client
It's a
because
fail safe because I've had
or different
like me and
options.
Zach
I'm like,
had
or we
to-
can flip it. Let's flip it. Let's throw it upside down. Like you can do
Yeah,
anything.
that's cool.
And
Yes.
they're like, oh, that's it. And then as soon as
You're
they
gonna
see
make
it,
more
they're
money.
like, yep, that's it.
Right?
So
Send
me and
it.
Zach did that with my head, where we had one plan.
Bro, you didn't get your head tatted. What are you talking about? Come on.
And then he did the original drawing, sent me pictures of what it would look like on my head.
Yeah.
And it would not have looked good.
Yeah.
And, a few years ago, that's what it would have been on my body. But
Really, in small captions, Zach writes something and he goes, don't do
this.
Like, that's
Yeah.
what he writes. Please don't do
then
that.
we fixed it and everything.
That's
it turned
cool.
turned out cool.
Yeah.
But you think you could save someone a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is, though, what's cool is it'll actually boost business because you can go, hey, check this
You're
out.
giving them a vision.
And we're visual people,
And
right? So
that's
if you
all
get
people
that,
want is they want to see it. And they want
course.
to visual. That's like with the whole
Yeah.
stencil process
Yeah.
as well. I'm like, I will put this on you 17 times if that's what it takes for you to be happy. Like,
Right.
this is the hard part. The fun part is me tattooing.
Yeah.
That is like, once we get through this, it's like, then the rest is cake.
right.
And that's what people, I'm like, they're like, I think people, the whole stigma of like kind of being intimidated also by the tattoo process is a big issue. And people aren't comfortable enough to speak up, and then they have something on their body that they're not happy with.
Right.
And if they just said, hey, can you move it up like an inch? Like, I've done that. And I'm like, let's move it up a hair
Right.
more. I know it's a pain in the ass, but I was so much happier.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important.
I think it's a
for-
trust thing, right?
Yeah.
Because with your artist, like, that's why
for having
Zach.
communication and being comfortable.
Right. I mean, I literally trust him to the point where, like, I'm like, hey, man, I got this idea. I don't even see the sketch till I'm walking in the
Yeah.
day I'm getting tattooed. And also, I know that I trust his opinion, and he will shoot it to you straight. He'll be
Yeah.
like, hey, man,
This won't work.
he goes, that idea is dope, but here's what I would do with that. And I'm like, oh, this is why I love that guy.
That's our
and
job.
That's your job, right?
Yeah.
And I hate it when people come in, the customer, I want this.
And only
And they
that. And
only
don't
that. I'm like,
change
you're not
it.
an artist, you idiots. Like, let the artist do their fucking job.
Well,
It
some
drives me
things
nuts.
are just like, it won't work on skin. Like, it just
Plain and
does
simple.
not work.
Right.
Like, it won't.
Yes, it will. I
work.
saw it in my head. Make it work.
Well, I seen it done. I'm like, well, show me. And they're like, let me find it. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, show me where you've seen it done. Show me
Right.
a photo, not a photo of a drawing. Show
Right.
me that tattoo on somebody's body
Guy
that
goes.
did it, and let me see it. And then
You ever seen this barbed wire tat around the bicep? It's pretty cool, you know?
that's why I think giving your artist the artistic freedom to do what they do is the most important thing. Because every time I've gotten tattooed, whether it was Zach or Ray, I straight up, the only things I've ever said is like, I have this idea.
Ow. This hurts. Owie.
Ow.
Owie.
I have this idea. I want to go with this. Do your thing. And
I would love if you did
It's
that
more
and Ray
enjoyable
just
for
goes,
us.
this is garbage.
Yeah.
I would just love for him to say that.
but then he comes up with something,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, that's what I had in my head. I wasn't able to
Didn't know how
completely
to
vocalize
do it.
it.
Yeah.
But the way you did it
Yeah.
works that much better.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then they come in and
then we're happier on our end.
Both
Oh, of course. It makes your
We
job
enjoy
easier.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
both Zach and Ray know what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Like they see the process, the correlation of all my stuff, and they know, so they're not
Right.
gonna just. I'm not gonna walk in and be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
it all makes sense. It all
cohesive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turns out 100 times better than I could ever. Hey, send them 8 pictures. I want all this together. And they're like, okay. So I'll have always, every single time I get tattooed, I'm like, this is the idea that I have. I want to go with a wolf on my neck, Odin's eye on my neck, blah, 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 all that. And then they just do their thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. Yep. There we go.
So I have a question, kind of random. What is your honest opinion on this? What's your take on tattoo artists that have 0 tattoos on their body?
I know of some.
Straight up.
I know of some that have very minimal tattoos.
Nope.
I mean,
and
if you look at
I
me,
want the real. What's your opinion? Nope. Right off the top, I don't know your friends. You're right now. I don't want to say you're throwing them under the bus, but I want. What is your vibe? They can be so talented as a tattooist, but they have 0 tattoos. They've never experienced getting tattooed. What is in your head? Was the first thing that comes to your mind with that?
First thing I think of.
It's kind of bullshit.
They're an amazing tattoo artist.
Yep, it's kind of bullshit.
I mean, to each their own. I don't know. I mean,
to me, that's like being a fat trainer and you've never worked out, but you're training people.
I see that. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I think a lot of it is like of being a tattoo artist. I mean, I know people that are amazing artists that put out amazing work.
Yep.
And I get it. I think me being a tattoo artist, like I want to it's like trusting a skinny chef. That type of thing where it's like, did you even try the food? But like, did you?
Do you eat your cuisine? Because you ain't fat.
I mean, for me, like when I'm tattooing people, then then I go and get tattooed. I'm like, wow, this shit sucks. And I do this to people. Then it kind of puts you back in a different mindset of like very like being like empathetic towards people.
Well, totally.
I think overall, like as a tattoo artist, it gives me a better respect for the client. And I think having that relationship with your client every single time is really important. And it connects you more where it's like, hey, I know this sucks, but
you
like,
got it.
You got it. Or like if somebody needs the motivation and then you're looking at me and you see I don't have any tattoos and you're like, no, you don't understand. And then
right.
It's like,
very good point. Yep.
I think that is important. I mean, I don't have a big opinion about it. I think it's more of like a respect thing between you and the client.
Also, it's good for your business. And like I've actually, that you nailed it, because I've had conversations with him where he'll be tattooing me and he goes, he knows because he has that tattooed. And he goes, all right, buddy, so here's the deal.
Hey, buckle up. This is going to suck a little bit, but then we're going to move somewhere else.
Yes, he's like, this section is not going to be fun.
Yeah.
But he goes, all this over here, cake.
Eat cake.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, it kind of puts people at ease where I'm like, hey, I understand. So or it kind of helps with the client too, where I can be like, hey, we're going to start here because this is probably going to suck the most. Yeah. And then we'll move around to somewhere a little bit easier to finish off. Or especially like with the stuff that I do, or like I just recently got tattooed and I do a lot of like dot work and things like that. You have to map out the whole thing first and then get into it and go, which sucks.
Right.
So like having to re-enter areas that are already open and have been kind of sitting for a little bit is extremely tender. And I think it's important for like, then I can kind of give them that advice of, hey, we're going to start over here because this is going to suck more. But in the long run, you're probably going to make it through the whole thing because I started here. But if I didn't have that tattooed to my body, then I'm like, we'll start here.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I just think it's bad for business, straight up.
That's why I've
like
it's not, smart tattoo artists are the best in terms of experience wise. Like both like Zach and Ray that tattoo me are head to toe, and so every time I go in to do a piece, they know exactly where to start because
they've done it.
That's
like when he got his head done,
there.
he goes, you sure you want to do that, man?
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's also the type of thing of like, I mean, where to start is important because like if I'm right-handed, so I was taught to start in the bottom right-hand corner of the piece, because then as you work your way up, you're not removing your stencil.
Oh,
so
got it.
I think that is also just on the technique side of being a tattoo artist and just doing it the right way. That's important. But then after, let's say the stencil's already been on, then when you decide of like where to start or where to move or go around the piece, I think that's what comes from experience of being tattooed.
Yeah.
So I think there's kind of like a little bit of both. So knowing the right and wrongs of where to start, and just being a tattoo artist and having that background knowledge of being taught correctly.
Right.
And then also being a tattoo artist, and then kind of leveling with the client on pain-wise.
Again, it's all about the trust, man.
Yeah, that was funny with like my stomach where Ray was bouncing all over like you know how
stomach, dude. Fuck
like you know how
shit.
for a lot of he didn't just like go finish one spot and then just work all the way down or all the way up
Depends on
and
what
all
you're
that.
doing too.
Yeah, and he was like, it was funny because all the areas he hit were right from the start were the worst, and then he just worked in from worst to easiest, but it
Yeah.
wasn't like a bottom
Section by
I
section.
got all
Yeah.
this done. I'm not touching this.
Yeah,
yet.
and so it was
Nope,
funny.
nope,
He was kind of all over the map,
Yeah.
and then and I'm sitting there. I'm like,
Why are you
what
doing
And then I'm
this?
like, okay, that makes sense.
He's got
Because
a
then,
process to the madness.
because we were talking, he was like, if I were to finish this area at the end, you'd be in so much fucking pain right now. So even though at the
you're
end,
welcome.
at the
Yeah.
end of the
Thank me
tattoo, when
later.
you're struggling fucking hard, it's in the easiest spot
Yeah.
capable of doing it.
Sure.
Because
It
if
doesn't
you were
feel
in
easy
that
in the
spot,
moment,
yeah,
but-
Right.
But if it
But
was,
you don't. But if you didn't do that,
But if-
it'd probably be
yeah.
10 times more
yeah,
hell.
if he finished up in the center of my sternum, I would have been fucking crying. Yeah, so
I would have loved to have seen that. That'd have made me.
It was bad.
If I was there, I'd be
Give
a
you
little
a
smile.
little-
"Mm, you're a dummy for doing your stomach. But so what's I guess where a couple questions. We'll get down the business path here with tattooing, but let's talk about a little bit with social media stuff. So. What is your? I mean, in the field that you're in, how do you feel that social media? What has it done for? I guess the tattoo world or community has it? Because here's my belief or my philosophy. I think everything is oversaturated, no matter what. Music, clothing, tattoos.
That's
it doesn't
the name of the
matter.
game, yeah.
But to me, it's how do you do your job well and niche your way? And I know we've touched on it a little bit, but do you feel social media has made things better, worse, or what do you think?
I think it's one of the best tools you could possibly
agree.
utilize.
Yep.
I think it would be dumb. It is dumb of people to not use it to its maximum potential.
Completely
like,
agree.
Done. And it's not even just Instagram. We have been doing a lot of research on all different platforms of social media. You can do Google ads, Facebook ads, Facebook, what is it, LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn,
literally,
Twitter,
there's
TikTok.
everything.
Yep.
TikTok. I have a freaking TikTok, and I mean, it's not the most.
Not a huge fan of it. but
I like doing them, but I have had clients or people that have commented on my Instagram. It's like, I found you through TikTok, and then
Yeah.
I saw your Instagram, and your work's awesome. And it only takes one person. If one person found me through TikTok, that's one more client that
You
I
got it.
have, and that's money in my pocket.
it's the same philosophy that we have. Yeah.
I think it's a tool that needs to be used more. And as much as we all hate it or hate to post or put so much negativity on, or we hate social media
Mm-hmm.
and blah 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 blah, I think it's necessary.
100%.
And I think it's just that's the way the world is, and you might as well just hop on the train and use it to your maximum potential, because that's what we got.
yeah, I think it's interesting to me when people rebel against it or they're anti, and I'm kind of
They're
like,
I'm deleting my Instagram for
yeah, and I
30
go-
days.
Yeah,
and
and
I'm like,
I
okay,
go,
guess
well,
how many
and
people
right
care?
right where my head goes is like, one, you're an idiot. Two, why are you so PO'd about other people's stuff? Well, maybe you're following the wrong people, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's a channel for your business, and it's all about numbers and eyeballs, right? Eyeballs that
Yeah.
generate, the branding into sales, into creating something. So, when I hear that, I'm like, they don't get it. Or I'm old school. I'm like, well, hey, old school, get with the new school. You need to figure your shit out.
Yeah.
And I think a lot
I
of
think that's the struggle for a lot of old school tattoo artists but that's why
Yeah.
hey, hire somebody.
Totally.
You're old school, okay, you definitely have the money
Stay
to go
old.
get a
You
social
got
media
it.
person, then you don't have to deal with it at all.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
capitalizing on it.
for sure.
It's just the way the world is now.
Well, especially in terms of if you're running a business, whether you're a tattoo artist, clothing brand, or all that, and it's a specific visual endeavor that you're going down, where you have to actually show what it looks like. If you're not on top of your social media game, you're 10 steps behind.
you got me.
There's
You're
no
already losing.
Yeah,
You are.
there's no excuses for that. Even though it gets annoying at times where you feel like
It's another job.
But then it's like you're just posting to posting. If you're feeling that way, if you have new content, good content that you're excited about, it shouldn't feel like another job. So
I agree.
then it just comes into terms of, hey, you need to get better content, or you need to get new content, because you should be stoked especially if you're a tattoo artist or if you're a clothing brand, to be showing your new stuff.
Well,
or,
I mean, the thing is too is when you
Or to
said
ask.
good, the
Yeah.
thing
You
is
do
you just
polls.
yeah,
Like,
you
hey,
just said
who digs this?
Yeah, well, we
So-
fucking quit doing that because that's a load of shit. We were like, well, let's poll. Do you want this colorway or that? And then we make it, and then it's like, oh, they didn't want that
They didn't want
colorway.
either
Like,
of them. They
fuck
both
you.
suck.
Yeah. So my thing is though, like, kind of what you were talking about, Alec, was like, you know, if you're old school, that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but when you don't post this stuff or you complain about it, this is your job. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You should then not do what you're doing. Like, I don't feel bad for people, and it actually annoys me. They
Like,
get
are
like,
you doing everything that you can possibly do? And
Yeah.
then if
And then they
you're not
complain,
doing
though.
everything and you're losing, then okay, what's the next step? And
there's
how to
no
be better?
there's no way that if
I'm
you're
not
a
gonna
tattoo
feel bad for you if you haven't taken every step possible in order to
Yeah.
improve and grow.
if you're a tattoo artist and you're not posting, it's like this. I say it's like taking a shower. You have to just implement it in your life as if you ate food.
It's like vitamins.
You got it. It's like, and then if you have that mindset, it's not, oh, this sucks, I gotta post this. It's like, dude, stash it in your phone for later. Post
Yeah,
it later
it's
when
called
you're.
drafts.
You got it. Like, and so when you're doing that kind of stuff, I don't think people that are old school, they don't know the power and the pull and the reach
Yeah.
of this stuff. And if you're a tattoo artist, you can grow your branding. Like for example, like Dr. Wu, right?
Yeah.
He's got his social media locked
He's
down.
niched down so hard.
But see,
too.
people talk about him because they're like, "Oh, did you see him on Instagram?" They
Yeah.
didn't see him in a fucking newspaper
was
ad
years
or
and
something.
years ago.
Yeah, like, and these guys are making stupid money, these tattoo artists or whatever it is, because they know that this is not going anywhere. It's just going to grow, and it's the
Yeah.
norm. I mean, how funny is it
Well,
when you
tattoos
see
will never be done by a computer.
right when you see news anchors like the most bland shit where they're like, it'll be like the newscaster and they're like, it has their Instagram handle at the
Oh, yeah.
bottom.
Yeah.
I laugh. I'm like, that is proof right there that old school news is even like, hey, this is my IG handle,
Yeah.
right?
Well, when you hear people who complain about whether
I can't
their
level with
business isn't going as well as they wanted to, or you hear tattoo artists, oh, I haven't had the work that I want, or even photographers, videographers, and all that,
Yep.
and then you look at their social media and it's
Womp womp.
there's nothing. Their last post was 4 months ago.
Yep.
You're like, well, what do you
hate
expect?
that.
What do you expect?
Oh, you reminded me what I was trying to get on. You said good content or bad content. Here's the
Yeah,
funny thing.
quality.
There's no rules. So you might think it's bad content. You might think it's good content. I might
Yeah.
think it's okay
Well,
content.
it's all about who you're trying to attract.
You got it,
So
yeah.
it could be bad. Like he could think it's boring.
Yeah.
But if I'm trying to attract you and you think
Yep.
it's awesome, I don't give a shit what about he has to
Totally.
say.
So rude.
Yeah. But you know what I mean, though? Like, that's the thing that people don't get is that there's no judge and jury to this shit. So once you pull that out of your head and focus on what you're executing as a business, go nuts.
Or
like,
even better, if you don't like it, delete it.
yeah. Well, I do believe, though, a lot of times, unless it's like inappropriate shit, which I think common sense, you should know what's, you know. I mean, that bed sheet one, dude, you had was a little scandalous, you know what I'm saying? Did you see that? Do you see that? No, God. He's like laying in a
didn't see
bed.
it?
I'm
doing
like
one of those.
upside down.
Oh, upside
Upside
down.
down.
And then he just goes, dip your balls in my mouth. I'm like,
Yeah, so I got that picture.
God damn.
So,
But-
well, speaking, yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
I did
I-
a photo shoot for some book covers and stuff.
Hey, you're getting paid.
Yep. And I got one of the images back, and I was like laying upside down with my head off the bed, and I got
Horrible.
it back, and I sent it to Jeff, and I go, doesn't this scream, come dip your balls in my mouth?
And I'm like, oh, boy. Hey, there's a niche for that, though. There's a
is.
market.
I just,
Yeah.
it's the first thing that popped into my mind, and I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I
So-
just think that that's the biggest, I think, hurdle for most people or anything in social media is that they just overthink it.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, here's the deal.
Or they just don't know how to use it. In
Well,
all
I mean, even then, like,
honesty.
here's
think
my
some
thing.
people don't know how to even use everything that Instagram has to offer. If we're
For
talking
sure.
just solely Instagram, I think that's a problem.
Yeah, like TikTok is kind of annoying.
TikTok is just like it's
like
gonna
a
turn
glorified
into something
Vine.
different.
It's glorified
It's just
Vine.
fun.
Yeah.
Like it's just stupid fun, and that's what I actually really enjoy about it is that there's no like Instagram is really judgy, and I think TikTok is definitely not that. It's just
Yeah.
about like being stupid, having fun, trying
Yep.
a trend, whatever it may be. And me and Reese have done some of them, and it's fun.
Yeah,
And, I mean we have fun just because we're doing it together, obviously. But it's just about like having a laugh, honestly.
Yeah, I'm back on the
Your
Twitter.
personality.
Yeah, I'm back on the Twitter game. Not a huge fan of Twitter,
know.
but
Hello, Twitter world.
Yeah, but
That's
you know, you
OJ.
gotta- yeah,
That's OJ.
it's
What
OJ.
up, Twitter world?
yeah, but that's like, you know, you got to utilize it. And at the end of the day, yeah, I just think people overthink. Like if you own a gym, if you do this, like just post something.
Market yourself.
Yeah, just do something, and then you'll slowly figure it out over time,
Yeah.
right?
Well, what we're doing, Reese is starting a new endeavor, and it's called Inspired, and it's
what?
Inspired.
Inspired.
Inspired, yeah.
I thought you said okay. Gotcha. Inspired. Gotcha.
But it's teaching artists how to utilize their Instagram, and it's
Yeah.
just targeting tattoo artists,
Yeah.
which I think is awesome. So she's creating a course on how to maximize Instagram to its potential and then grow your business as a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
So she's releasing that. She's doing a beta launch in February.
Perfect segue right now,
yeah.
Jackie. I got something for you.
Reese.
Yeah, this is
Tattoo
good.
Reese, baby.
Yeah.
So
Shameless
I think,
plug. Fucking.
I think it's awesome, and I think it's something that we really need. I will be taking the course as well. I think my Instagram probably needs a little revamp, but I think it's really important. It's something, like we said, that is a tool that should be and needs to be capitalized on.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think there's anything else out there right now, especially pertaining to tattoo artists that hate posting. Because, okay, we wake up, draw for our tattoos or whatever we have going on today, tattoo for 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours,
Long
even
day.
small ones. Like, it's exhausting for if you think about getting tattooed. You walk out of there and you're beat.
Yep.
We are tired.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's work, it's labor. And then we're done for the day. Last thing we want to do is post.
Totally.
But I mean, I think that's where this course is going to be awesome as to kind of setting you up of like making drafts,
Yep.
captions, hashtags, just capitalizing on everything, and then creating your vibe and your niche and your look, and
Yeah.
then kind of going from there. There's a spot for everybody. So I think, I mean, there's thousands of tattoo artists out in the world, but people come to me for some reason. I like, why'd you choose me?
Yeah.
And I think that's just what makes you stand apart, and then what's your niche, and just targeting the market or the clients that you want, that
Right.
you desire.
Yeah, I think
that's going to make you the happiest.
The one thing is, though, I think going back to like what you're talking about with Reese and the business side is that people have to have it. And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about their artwork. I'm talking about like the drive to want
have to be hungry. You gotta
got
want it.
Yeah, and I just think
you
so
can't
many
teach
people.
them. You can lead a horse to water. But
Yeah,
you
and
can't make them drink.
that's the thing is like, you know, great on this course, and I don't think that's a bad idea by any means, but I think there's so many people that they want to do this or they want to do that, and then they're like, well, if I take this, it'll get me there, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
You have to put in the work, and that's what I think we're trying to definitely educate people on is like, yeah, this course exists, but it's not where it's like you go through the steps of 1, 2, 3, and then your Instagram is magically perfect and
Yeah.
you're making all this money. It's like you need to put in the work, and you really need to think about like, number one, who you want to be as an artist, the type of clients that you want, and you really have to like kind of dig deep into yourself as to what you're looking for. What's your goal?
Yeah. I'm going to ask you this, and I'll give my opinion. What is the importance of the artist to market them? I'm not talking about their artwork. I'm talking about you.
What drives me nuts is if I'm looking up an artist and I don't know why, like, what do you look like? Like, I want to know what
Totally.
you look like as
Completely
a person.
agree.
It's like that. I think that's just so, like, it's just not. I want to, like, it's like communication, being comfortable and finding your vibe. Like, if I vibe with you as a person, I'm much more inclined to go to you. You might have the same artwork, but if I vibe with you more, I'm definitely getting tattooed by you.
Yep.
And it's like, if I don't know who you kind of are, you don't need to post yourself all the time.
Right.
Even just putting a face to the name. It's like when you walk in the door and it's like, I'm here for Jackie. I have no idea what she looks like.
What's she look like? And it's a guy.
I'm like, hey, what's
It's a
up?
big
It's
burly
Jack.
dude.
Yeah, it's
Hey, I'm
like,
Jack. Hey, it's me, Jackie.
Wait,
what's up?
whoa.
How you doing?
Yeah.
But I think that's super, 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 super important. And I
Yep.
think that's, I mean, people will come back. We've gotten emails before, Reese and I want to come and get tattooed just because I want to hang out with you guys. Literally.
Yep.
Or I've had, this is the best tattoo experience I've ever had, and I can't wait to come back.
Yep.
I'm going to come up with something new so I can come back. Like, they just want to come back because it's us. Because of who we are. And I think that's something really important to capitalize on.
Again, it breaks back down to what I was talking about with the trust, because then when you see what they look like, you get a vibe. Everything's vibes, you know. And like, for me, it's like, yeah, your artwork's cool, but what the fuck do you look like?
Yeah.
Or like,
it's like I'm touching you and on your body for a extensive amount of hours. Like the connection it creates between you and that person is so unique. I'm like, you're a lot of people's therapist. It's like, we're talking about everything under the sun, about who you are as a person. We're going to get pretty deep and revealing here, especially if I'm in like, you're in pain. And it's like, how am I going to get you through this? Or how are you going to be comfortable? If that person's not comfortable and I'm literally like on top of you, tattooing you, it's just like, it also just affects it. It can affect the tattoo itself.
Sure.
Like, if you're already mentally not there and checked out, like...
I've had those sessions.
There are times where, like, you can tell when somebody's body's had enough, and then the ink just is... Your body just is like, I don't want it. I'm not taking no more ink. I'm done. I'm done.
I think it's... Everything is, like, a combination. It just blows my mind when people, you know... Like, that being said about, like... They don't know what they look like, or they're and not like faking like who they are, like you have to have this persona, but I think it needs to be like, it's so now in business what's so prevalent is, it happens with Alec and I a lot, is that what people need to wrap their head around is that it's the people that run the business, then it's what do you do for the business. 10-15 years ago was, what are you selling? What's the product? I don't give a shit about the owner. The game has changed. It's all about
who they are.
Are you legit? Like, I look at you, I see you have tattoos. Okay, check the boxes. Cool, I like her vibe. And then they start looking at your artwork. It's never a process where people like, and it's not for everybody. It can, you know, switch that way. But
some people are like, their art's dope, done.
Yeah, but it's all about then to what like slams it home like 100% is, it's who's running the brand, right? And people just don't realize how important and crucial that element is. Like Under Armour, no one gives a shit. But what does everyone think now about Under Armour?
The Rock.
You got it, right? And he is literally, shit, I don't know why he didn't do his own brand.
We were watching Jumanji last night.
The new one?
No, the first one. He's a fucking...
He's Studley, right?
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about the best genes. You know, 50% African American, 50% Samoan doesn't suck. That's pretty amazing.
I'd climb that tree.
Would you?
Human.
You make me question myself.
He's getting older, and he's like
getting hotter.
And he's getting better looking and like more jacked. I'm like, my parents were watching Little Guy, and my dad's like, "You ever seen this?" It was like an old Disney movie. It was like Rock's second movie ever.
He was
like rail thin with like a comb back. Like, I'm like, he looks kind of dumb. Like now he's just
I want him with all the drugs in him, all the steroids, all the testosterone, all the veins popping.
Chicken breast. What are you talking about?
All the oil. That's what I want. I just want a movie of him with his shirt off the whole time.
You know,
That's what I want,
dude. And that would be a
blockbuster hit.
I would pay a lot of money to see that.
Yeah, man.
I do a lot of things.
He's got it all figured out, but. Yeah, I mean,
he's capitalizing.
Yeah,
he has his niche.
Well, I mean, the thing is too, like even with that, he's not reinventing the wheel. Like every business move, there's a great example. Every business move he does, it's just he knows how to take it and then pivot and make it better. You know, like I said, everyone complains, "Oh, there's a million clothing brands." I'm like, well, do your shit better. Figure it out. Yeah. Like, there's always something
audience?
To do. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, your branding is so important, but I always say to myself. Two things. If you're always doing something for the business every day, you're good.
Yeah.
And there's always something to do.
Yeah.
So when people are like, yeah, man, I haven't posted in a month. Like, literally, it's that trust thing. Like, you nailed it, too. And you're like, dude, when I go to a page and someone's like, they posted like 7 months ago, I'm like, checked out. I'm like, done.
Yeah.
Because they're not consistent, right?
Yeah.
So...
I mean, that's the thing, too. Then they wonder why they're not getting growth or clients or anything like that.
I wonder.
I'm like, or they're like, I don't want to do these little baby banger tattoos anymore. I'm like, okay, why don't you draw something
so
big
why is
and
that?
dope?
Why do artists say stuff like that? Why won't they do the little...
I mean, we always do.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Right?
No, but it's like, I'm kind of referring to more of the people that want to do more or bigger, better pieces, which is, I mean, in my myself, I love to do big pieces.
Sure.
I'm down for like little small things because I'm like, hey, it's still money in my pocket.
Yep.
But I like, you want to do something that's like, holy shit, like that you
Head
did
turner,
that,
right?
like
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yep.
Like I did a full like inner thigh piece. I mean, that's already like, I feel like the area alone, people were like, what the hell? And then we did double ribs, and I like insane. This guy, he's incredible.
And you just
But
sat
then
there like a
literally
tree, didn't you?
smile.
didn't move. Like almost 8 hours for 2 days back to back, inner
No
thigh
way.
and both ribs.
I'm not trying to be no
Champ.
hero.
Yeah,
Trying not
but
to be no hero
yeah,
here,
and he wants to do full chest piece, the whole nine. But on
Great
that,
client.
yeah,
Great
oh my
client.
god,
Yeah.
he's incredible. But doing like that big piece, people were like, holy shit. Or like they'll send it to people because you can see all of your stats and you can
Yep.
see where it was sent.
Right.
And that definitely gets, I mean, the little ones get a lot of attention. I think I mean, if you can't do a little baby banger, sometimes those are the hardest ones because
Right.
you can't, like, there's nothing to hide.
Right.
So I think that's definitely important of like quality of the tattoo artist. Like Roman numerals, that shit's like, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
still a line where like it has to be crispy and clean. If there's one little thing wrong, you're gonna see it.
Yeah.
But I think the people that complain like that, they don't want to keep doing that anymore. And then they're not doing anything to change the outcome of getting clients that want bigger pieces. I don't get it.
Right.
Then draw for something like that. Like I don't draw for little baby things, but if someone asks me for it, I'm down. Sure,
Yeah.
why not? Let's do it. Because a lot of times that opens the door for that person to come back. Because now you kind of gain their trust of like, you kind of like, hey, you gave me like, I walk in the door, you gave me a glass of champagne. I'm like, ooh, maybe now I want dinner.
Yeah.
So then it's like, you
It's that
kind of
easy, huh? That's it?
Yeah.
That's it? Just a glass of champagne,
glass
dinner,
of
there you
champagne,
go. Boom.
dinner, then the rest is history.
Yeah. It's, I think,
Gross.
I think a lot of things, what's
I
interesting
don't even
too
like
is,
champagne. I don't know why I made that reference.
so what do you think, like, what's the next phase now for you guys? Or like, as, you know, I mean, you are new in tattooing. What's the next moves, or what do you plan on doing, or what's your trajectory of, like, I never say this, what's your 5-year plan? I'm not saying that, but like, what's your next moves as
$1
your
billion.
business? Yeah, right. In the tattoo world. I mean, do you want to get, you know, like your own shop? Are you looking just to keep learning, or what's your process at this point?
I think the biggest mistake that people make is thinking that there's ever an ending point, especially for learning.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're saying that you kind of like learned everything there is, you're not doing it right. I will always be learning and trying new things. I'm definitely. Do you mind?
I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
I'm like bouncing my foot and I keep hitting her foot.
Oh, cool,
God,
man.
it's so rude.
Just
That's
kick
my
him in,
foot.
just kick him in the
space.
fucking shin.
Just. God damn, you made me lose my train of thought.
Oh, you were just
Learning,
saying
learning.
No,
Oh,
learning. Which I agree. I think that's with any career. Like, there's never a point where, oh yeah, man, I'm capped out, and then
Yeah.
I just can't level with people that think like that.
Especially, I mean, there's always a niche. I feel like I have formed already a little niche of what I like to do as of right now. But especially for me, since I'm so new, I love to do black work and things like that. But I'm gonna try color at some point.
Sweet.
So I'm gonna keep moving forward as to like, why not master that? Why not do this and
Yeah.
that? I don't really. I mean, I think ideally, I don't want to necessarily want people to come to me for anything under the sun, all different styles. I don't
Can you do me that infinity symbol?
No.
You know, one of those. I want
One
that on
of
my neck.
those.
On my neck would
Some
be real
she
cool.
flies with her own wings stuff.
Yeah. I
Love
love
it.
that. Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't really want to necessarily want to be that artist. I definitely still, because then you're kind of getting all over the place. But I think I definitely want to kind of move into like maybe different phases of, okay, I'm doing black work now, then I'll maybe do black and gray, then I'll dive into color, and then kind of go from there. Definitely a shop is in the works. My own shop would be super ideal. And then I guess kind of going from there.
Do you think
I
it's
don't know.
oversaturated where you're at right now? In
I
California?
think everything's oversaturated everywhere.
Like shop wise, I meant. Like,
So Oceanside.
like you literally throw a rock and you just hit 10 shops.
I mean, Oceanside, as of like on the west side of the 5, let's say, there's about 4 of like that everybody kind of goes to. Encinitas has a few. I don't think if you're putting out, like, we're going to put out a quality, high-end, beautiful shop.
Yep.
And I think that's what stands alone.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends. It could be oversaturated, and there could be hundreds of shops in one town. But if you're doing something different and
Right.
something that people are turning their heads for, I don't think it matters. I think it's just
No.
you gotta hit it just right.
Well, I think I noticed too with shops, it's almost now, which is smart, it's becoming an experience, almost like going to a restaurant. Like, what's the ambiance,
Well, that's
right?
what sets you apart is like as much as like where we're talking about putting a face to the name and like the vibe of the person is what experience are you giving that client, because there are hundreds of thousands of people that literally do the same shit I do.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people that put out the same quality, amazing work, but they will only go to, or you will only go to 2 people because you're getting that experience.
Right.
And I think that is probably 50, like it's just as important as putting out good work is giving a good experience.
Yeah, nice clean shop, man,
'Cause
with like
there's- I've
clutter.
gotten-
Oh, fucking hate that
I've gotten
shit.
tattoos where it's like that was like great work, but I'll never go back.
Because the shop? Or
Just
like,
because of the experience I had.
yeah.
You
Well, I
know?
think if you think about it, when it comes to tattoo artists, you don't really meet that many people who are like, I've been tattooed, who are like covered, who are like, I've been tattooed by like 15 different people.
Except Frankie Blydenberg.
Yeah, besides Frankie.
That's our
But
buddy
for
from
the
that guy
most
from
part,
Italy that I showed you. Yeah.
You get
He loves the traveling experience.
I
And
mean,
then-
I have
Yeah,
a
no.
bunch of different people on
Right,
me.
right. That's his thing.
But-
He like finds
But
these
then I'm
artists
like,
and then he
this
gets it
arm's
done.
one person, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
one
yeah.
leg will be one person, and then I'll kind of hop around.
Sure.
But
Makes
I think
sense.
that's it's also really good for networking too. As a
100%.
tattoo artist getting
Yes.
tattooed by other people.
Yeah.
It opens a lot of
Well,
doors.
like, I think the average person who gets tattooed, like you yourself, Zach, has done literally.
Everything on my
Everything?
except the top of my hands.
Yeah,
He did
so-
everything else though.
So you're like, you form a relationship with that artist. If you would have had a shitty experience with Zach the first time, you probably wouldn't have gone back. But when it comes to something so serious like a tattoo, if you have a good experience with a certain
Somebody you
artist, you're
trust.
probably gonna you plan on getting quite a few tattoos, you're probably gonna go back to them for everything.
Yeah, it's just you know they're gonna produce anything that's in my head, they're gonna make it way cooler, and then you're like, and I know what it feels like, and yeah, and he's fast. Thank God he's fast. I'm just like, oh, thank the Lord, because I am a wuss. I'm like, I can last 3 hours, and
Really?
I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm like, and I'm 35. It's like when you get older, that shit gets
Yeah,
worse. Like
you have a
that is
lower
a true
tolerance.
fact, and it's. I'll be real with you, doing sessions, line work's the worst. Shading's not as bad.
I've heard. I mean, everybody's
Color
different,
sucks. But yeah, it's just one of those. If I like did my back piece, right, 4 sessions, he
Yeah.
did that whole thing.
but I mean,
It's always session
everything
2.
sucks.
I am just. It's a mental thing. Like you have to
It's
mentally
all
prepare.
in your head. I think
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people make a lot of mistakes on when they're coming in to get tattooed as a client. Is if you are already checked out, it's gonna
Mentally,
be
yeah.
so bad for you.
Aren't you supposed to like drink a bunch of booze before you get them done?
Yeah,
That's what
we
I heard,
recommend it.
yeah.
Like 3 to 5 days prior of
Yeah.
just only booze.
Just
and
straight
don't
liquor.
Eat, don't
Yeah,
eat, no
perfect.
snacks,
Good.
and don't bring any snacks.
Good.
And then during the tattoo, never drink any water.
Perfect. It's the smartest move.
The only the thing above my knee is
Austin. He's the short
yeah, is the only tattoo that I've gotten where I'm like, it was kind of an impulse one. I got it from Ray, but I was like, I'll get tattooed while I'm here. But that was the worst one I've ever had. And it
Above
only
your knee?
Yeah, and it only well, not pain wise, but just it only took like 45 minutes, but I wasn't like
In it,
excited
mentally.
to get tattooed. So
I've had
it
those
was
moments.
just
I'm like,
it was
I don't really don't
Or
want to
like,
be here.
fuck.
I
because
don't wanna be
usually
here.
Damn it,
every
yeah.
time I get tattooed, I'm
Not in the mood.
Right.
really fucking stoked to get a certain piece done. So I've always noticed if I don't have like a solid plan or it's been planned out for a while, it's just not fun.
No, actually,
at
you know
all.
what's funny? I never like getting tattooed, like ever. But when I get it, like I'll take a bathroom break and I'll walk in and I go, oh my God, that's gonna be so fucking sick when it's done.
Yeah.
And then when it's done and it's burning, and I'm like, it feels like a sunburn. I'm like, it was worth it, you know.
Yeah.
But the actual process and getting it, I'm like,
Well,
I have no desire to be here right now.
Yeah.
This sucks. And
I think that's a lot of things. It's like people are sitting there getting tattooed, and then they put themselves in this mindset of this pain will never end, and it's
Right.
gonna be like this for forever.
No,
I'm
it
like,
goes away.
I'm like, it's not like, and then that part of your body is done. You
Yeah.
never have to do
Never
it unless
again.
you get it covered. But ideally, you don't do that. But I
You know
mean,
you do
I
it.
think people just don't. I think in their brains they just put themselves in this mindset of it's never gonna end, and it's
Right.
never gonna. And if you can just put your brain in the correct happy positive mindset then it changes the game.
Totally.
And then I think too, like what he said with like about being excited to go get tattooed, like that definitely helps with the pain. Your adrenaline's going and you're like, oh, this is cake. And then you're hour 5 and you're like, okay, losing steam,
More
adrenaline gone.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah.
But at the same, like, tattoos suck.
Yeah.
They're not fun to get. Like,
Any tattoo artist that says they're fun.
No, I
you're
mean,
liar.
they do suck. They hurt. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is like tattoos are not for everybody. The people that think that they're entitled to tattoos,
Right.
Like that's not the client that I want. Like you're not born to get tattoos. Like it's a privilege to get tattooed, and you have to pay for it. And it's like, if you're not in that in it to win it mindset, or if you don't have the respect for what it is, don't get tattooed.
For sure. I agree.
Done.
Any questions you have for the lady here? That's a good one. Just he's got nothing.
No,
Usually he
I-
just rattles off a bunch of fucking blah 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 blah.
No, to be honest, I think we've really covered most of the stuff that I was thinking about.
What's I guess for me, where do you see the industry, or where are things kind of like heading, or what's the trajectory of a lot of stuff? Not necessarily you personally, but
Yeah.
do you feel like all together, like collectively as a whole, the culture of tattoos is definitely
I
getting
think
a
it's
better rap?
changing.
In a good way, bad way?
Good way. I think it's just changing for artists are realizing that. I mean, there's the old school way of tattooing I think it is changing in a positive way, like to just say that as a statement. I think people are starting to realize, like, especially how important the experience is and going in that route, and that they're realizing how there are a lot of people in the world,
Right.
and what's going to make you stand apart, and what's going to give you like what's going to give you that edge, what's
Yep.
going to give you that next step of growing and improving. Because I mean the industry is only growing. There's only
True.
more tattoo artists, and
More
they're getting
people are
better,
getting- and more
they're
people are getting-
better faster.
Yep.
And it's like there are people coming into the game that, like, when I went to Denmark, I met this one chick that we still keep in touch, and we both kind of were very new, and she's insane.
Isn't it
And
crazy?
it's like,
How long has she been tattooing? Do you remember?
Same, like less than
Oh,
a
shit,
year.
yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't
I
it
think she
crazy?
started about maybe a couple months before me. But she was like out of control.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like some people have it and some people don't. But I think people need to realize that there are a lot of talented people in the world, and
For sure.
it's only going to grow. So either you capitalize on what you got and you improve and be better and kind of go with the times, or you're out.
Yeah, it's the best time, man. This is the best time to be doing shit.
I think it's awesome. And I think it's also a big thing of like, kind of, there's so many people that don't want to give you like the secrets or don't want to help and things like that, or any camaraderie.
Oh, in the tattoo community, you're
Yeah,
saying? Really?
and I think that's really important. I mean,
Yeah.
I meet a lot of people that are so nice, and like when I
Good.
just went and got tattooed, I met some people that I've been following for a little bit, and
Yeah.
they're so open to be like, hey, come look at this,
Cool.
or hey, come watch me do this, or like, have you tried this, or here, take it. Like, I had somebody give me a couple needles. I mean, it's just the gesture of even just extending that.
That's cool.
And then kind of just building those relationships with people. I mean, it only will help you. I think that's what people don't understand is like, it only helps to be kind and to
Not be a turd.
Well, also
Not be a
when
turd.
the tattoo industry and tattooing is never going to stop. So
It's just getting bigger.
why wouldn't you, as an artist who's been doing it a long time, you're not gonna. It's not like everyone. You're not gonna lose out on business. So
Right.
why wouldn't you want to take or keep the tattoo world alive and
Mm-hmm.
pass down your information to the person who's going to inevitably take your spot because you just can't do it anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Why would, if you truly
or
love the
growing a
craft,
team.
It's
Like,
insecurity.
if you
opening a
love the
shop, it's
craft,
like,
why would you
yeah, if
not
you're-
want that?
Yeah, if you're confident in what you do, then there's nothing for you to worry about. Then
Totally.
you have your people, you have your niche, and you have your clients, and it's like, why not kind of share the wealth type of thing? That's like a lack mindset.
Yeah.
of-
It's good to hear that people are open, though, because, I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
times you wonder.
I met some really, really wonderful people.
Cool.
And then obviously there's still the people that are like, definitely still set in their ways of, no, I'm not going to share anything with you. Obviously, learn it yourself. And a lot of it is figure it out. Like, if you don't know how to do it, figure it out.
Yeah.
That's with anything in life. It's like
sure.
riding a bike. Nobody's going to move the pedals for you.
Yeah.
So a lot
still
of it
don't know how
you
to
do
ride a
have
bike,
to,
but
but it's
whatever.
always the comfort of knowing, especially like I was so lucky with the way that I learned is to, like, if I wanted to try something new, she'd teach me tomorrow. And
good.
so like, it's just a matter of kind of helping hands and positivity. And
Yeah, it sounds
growth
corny,
and-
but to be real with you, it's totally true. Like, isn't it funny when you start just your mindset of positivity, you start getting tattoo artists that are on that same wave,
Yeah.
and you're all
And
succeeding.
you create this community of like everybody's
Yeah.
doing awesome, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's no reason to be this. I'm not teaching you, and I know there's those people, and
Yeah.
and this, and don't get me wrong, like I get it all the time. Like, hey man, I want to start a clothing brand. How do I do it? I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah.
go for it. Figure it out, man.
Figure it out.
Go
Try
for it. Yeah, try it.
Your clothing line's not going to be mine, so you can't tell you.
No,
I
wait.
don't know.
Did you? Yeah, no, it can be
don't
though.
know.
You know. Yeah,
Well,
that's awesome though. It's good to hear that there's good. I mean, obviously your experience has been good so far. I'm sure there's
I've had
a bunch of
very
shit
unique,
bags.
awesome experience.
Yeah, but that's with anything, right? What were you gonna say?
I was going to say you'd hope, especially someone who's owning a shop. If you're bringing in tattoo artists, don't you want them to be the best?
Right.
So they could,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just plain selfish. If you're like, I run a shop, but I want to be the one, doing all the work here. It's like,
Right.
if you have 5 tattoo artists and 3 of them are subpar and you have 2 good ones, that just makes your shop just overall like, they're all right.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to if you're a really fucking talented tattoo artist, why would you not want to pass on every bit of knowledge you have to make your shop fucking incredible?
Right.
That's like being in a band and someone who is the lead guitarist being like, the rhythm guitarist he's all right.
Yeah.
I don't want to pass on his information so my shit sounds tight, but the whole band would suffer because it just would be subpar.
Yeah, it's just reflecting your insecurities, and I think anybody who doesn't go with the positive aspect of it, yeah, man, I'll help you, but not giving like their business.
Yeah, you're not gonna
There's
you're
a
not gonna
fine
hold my
line.
hand.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of like
Being secure with
have
your
you
shit.
tried that? Have you done this?
Yeah,
You know? Try it.
Yeah, give it a
If
go.
you don't like it, you don't like it, but that's
Right.
my advice.
Yeah,
You know?
that's awesome.
That's my suggestion.
Yeah. No, I mean your work is phenomenal.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's really cool to see someone that has not really tattooed that long, and I know it's like probably in the industry like, oh, you've been tattooing 15 years, and it's like a credibility thing. So I'm sure when people see your work and then you tell them how long you've been tattooing, they probably are pretty shocked.
Yes.
Right.
Almost
and
always.
yeah, and it's great. You got a good natural talent, and yeah, check Jackie's stuff out. We'll have all of her social media connects on here, and then what shop you want to tell everyone what shop you're at and everything, and where they can
So
reach
it's
you?
a private studio. It's under The Edge Inc., I believe,
Okay.
for Instagram. That's our Instagram page. But we kind of just, since it's private studio, it's appointment only. It's just by our own Instagrams as of right now.
So then what's yours?
Mine is Jackie Blaho, JackieBlaho.
And then Reese is
The Art of Reese.
Yeah.
Reese.
Like pieces.
Reese's
Oh, great
Pieces.
candy, my fave.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best. Well, yeah, thank you so much
For making the flight in for the podcast.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then you head back home right now. I think
Yeah.
you're gonna catch a flight in
Flight
a little
here
bit
in about
here,
2
now.
hours.
like right now.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much. Yeah, check out Jackie's stuff. And we'll have everything, like we said, listed on the video. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, Alec. You wanna anything else add?
Get good tattoos, not bad ones, because
Yeah.
bad ones give me anxiety.
That's a fact.
Anxiety.
Dude,
And
well,
don't fucking, if you want to see my tattoos out in public,
Don't grab my arm.
Don't
Yeah,
just grab my
don't
arm
just-
because that's weird.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that,
the
but that's
bubble.
yeah.
That's
There's
weird.
a personal bubble respect.
Especially if you're the worker at the gas station and I'm buying something, don't grab my arm across the fucking thing because that's really weird.
Especially if it's a large in shape man, I don't think that's a very good idea.
The holiday guy across the street
Yeah.
from the warehouse.
Yeah, straight up one day I was buying, I don't know, I was getting like gas or
And an
something.
energy drink,
And an
probably,
energy drink
yeah.
probably, and I'm checking out and the guy, no joke, grabbed my wrist and pulled my arm in to look at my I'm
I
like,
would have
what
died
the
to see his face.
His reaction, yeah.
His eyeballs. You fucking touched
I'm
me,
gonna
dude.
kill you.
He was very strange. So
Just respect boundaries, maybe?
yeah, just
personal bubble
just
boundaries.
a general thing for anyone who has tattoos.
Right.
If you want to like look at them, be like, hey, do you mind if I look? Because I'll
At
be
your
like, yeah,
body?
absolutely. Fucking here you go, man. I'll turn but let me do the movement of my shit.
body?
Don't
Oh, and another thing.
Don't
just
grab me by the
because-
penis too while you're doing it.
Just because we have tattoos doesn't mean I want to see your fucking
Yeah.
garbage ass Cabbage Patch doll
Dude, that's
on your
the-
fucking
that's
forearm.
the-
You
yeah.
know, that's like we were at Arizona Taco Company. It's a really good spot right up the road, and this woman walks in. She goes, "Oh, love your this is my big thing. Love your tats." I'm like, don't say that.
Or ink. I fucking hate that
Love
shit
your
too.
tats. And then she goes, "Yeah, I got one back in the day." Pulls her shirt up, and I go, "Oh,
Oh,
God."
wow.
As I'm
Oh,
eating,
wow.
I go, "I don't want this interaction to happen right now." But she goes, I should go where you guys go. I'm like, yeah, you probably should, because what you
Like,
have
no,
looks like a pile of mush. It's like it looks
She
like
goes-
a potato,
she
just all
goes-
mushy.
She goes, yeah, I got this one. My friend did it for me on my couch. That's where she got it done,
Yeah,
on
she
her
got
couch at her house. I'm
many
like, yeah,
diseases.
it makes a lot of sense.
Everything
makes a lot of
adds
sense.
up.
Dude, you know, we should call him out. We should go, "Hey, is that a couch tat?
That a couch-
Was that a couch tat?
tattoo?
Couch
Yeah.
and garage.
Yeah.
Couch tat. Yeah.
God,
Well,
but
thank
yeah.
you so much, Jackie, for
you.
coming through. Again, we'll have all of her stuff on here, and if you have any questions for us or for her, hit her up. Slide up in the DMs.
Get in my DMs.
Yeah, and thank you guys so much for checking out this newest episode, and
Subscribe. Make sure to subscribe. Leave a fucking review, comment. 5 stars would be
Tell me
nice.
how-
you know what's
Amazing I
funny?
am.
It's annoying when people ask to subscribe, but it's actually super important.
It is.
it's
like
not that
mildly
hard. You
important.
literally just click a button.
Yeah.
That's the effort.
It's like
So,
follow button.
yeah, it's
Everything via for Iron and Ink is ironandinkfitness.com. If you listen to the podcast, you get yourself a discount. I don't remember if it's 10 or 15%. I don't
Hey,
remember.
it's a discount, though.
It's a discount.
you know?
It's money off your order, and it's just podcast. That's the discount code.
That's a tough one.
It is. And yeah, me and Jeff, you know the drill. Our Instagrams and shit. But yeah, I think that's about it. New band stuff is in the works. That stuff will be released shortly.
Yeah,
So-
no, tons of new Iron and Ink stuff's in
Yep.
production right now. We are bringing back stuff that is sold out multiple times. So we're doing new colorways and the ones that we can't please everybody. We do
Yeah.
the best we can, but
We're trying our best.
Our best.
We're trying.
We're
our best.
trying. And so we got a bunch of new product coming out, and we're excited for that. So thank you so much, and
Thank you.
we out.
We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Everybody out of the water! There's sharks in the water!